backup producer Pete washing me. Just absolutely destroying me.
It's not great.
He's like doubling me up this week.
You had to say the champs 0-2.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the Chiefs.
You know what they say about 0-2? Not a lot of teams dig out of it.
I know.
It's big adversity for you. Gut check.
A lot of adversity. Gut check. Yeah, exactly. It's going to be tough. We'll have to see how I play. But, I mean, seriously, like, Pete is just destroying me. He's going to wind up with the highest score in the league. But I wouldn't have beaten anyone. Like, my entire team didn't show up. Darnell Mooney, 4 points.
Okay, Chubby Leather Daddy's 2-0.
There you go. Well done.
Fantasy Life commenter just steamrolling everyone's path.
Yeah,
right
I'm
now.
glad at least that someone on this table is doing it.
Fantasy Football Happy Hour with Matthew Berry.
Welcome to the Fantasy Football Happy Hour. That's right, raise a cup, Matthew Berry. Jay, we'll cheers to us.
Yeah, to victories, to winners.
I'm 2-0 in winning this league over the last 2 years.
2-1.
Previous.
Over the last 2 years. There's always a caveat. Man of many talents.
Over the last listen, I'm a master of manipulating
You
stats.
really are.
Over the last 2 years, no one has won the League of Assholes other than this asshole right here. 2-0. Now, again, if you expand right now, if you expand it to the 3-year history of the league, I'm 2-1. And if we expand it to include this year, I'm pretty much 2-4. Because at this point, I'm 0-2. Backup producer Pete, like, slap me like a grape, crush me like a grape. Look at, here's Connor Rogers, Fantasy Life commenter, just absolutely crushing producer Adam. Then look at you, Evil Jay. Oh, that's not even you, that's producer Steven. The Chubby Leather Dadder is destroying Denny.
I had the bye.
I had the bye. To 100 points? I've been doing the two.
I mean, like.
Who got hurt this week, Matthew?
Everyone. Well, first off, I didn't have Xavier Worthy, but it's not that they got hurt. I mean, look at me.
Wow, look at the standings.
I mean, it's absolutely brutal. I will tell you. I mean, like, so I had my running backs are Derrick Henry and Chase Brown, less than 10 points.
Yeah, they were never going to be good.
Right, exactly. Sam Laporta. Let's see. Sam Laporta didn't do anything. Cortland Sutton didn't do anything. Mike Evans didn't do anything. Like, all those players, all big names, they all combined for less points than Ramondre Stevenson, who backup producer Pete had. Yep. Again, like you just saw the score there. Like, he doubled me up, basically. He just, not one of my guys showed up.
All those players fully healthy as well.
I know. I didn't have Xavier Worthy, but other than that, I mean, Jaden Daniels and Drake May showed up, but that was about it for my team. Yeah. Everyone else, just brutal.
You blamed your week 1 loss on George Kittle's injury when George Kittle's not on your team.
Yeah, but emotionally we were affected. My whole team was very emotionally affected.
It really sunk the locker room.
If only George Kittle was healthy for another person's team.
Somebody else out there.
They would have been able to. I don't know. I have George Kittle on a lot of teams. I forgot that I didn't have him in this one. But it doesn't matter. I'm just saying, like, 0-2. But I believe, a lot of people, if I was weak of mind, weak of heart, if I was like these two losers, I would be like, well, that's the season. I'm packing it in. I'm folding it up. But you know what? I have the heart of a champion.
You do.
Never say die. Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? No. Was it over at 28-3? No, it was not. Damn it. No. Let's say John Rod. Screw you, John Rod. Listen, go Birds.
There he goes, turning on the regulars.
Listen, John Rod. Hail the Commanders. Hail victory.
Yeah. No, with the Go Birds. Yeah. John Rod just absolutely giving it to you there.
Just giving it to me. Yeah.
I don't want to go the early crow, but my team is an absolute juggernaut. It's actually sick. It's scary. It's scary how good my team is. Because here's the thing. I'm crushing people by 60 points, and here's who's on my bench. Daniel Jones, third quarterback, doesn't even get on the field. Tucker Kraft on my bench. Now, to be fair, that was my fault. But still, he didn't need to be out there. By the way, you know who's building up? No, it was just Quinshon Judkins on my bench. Going to be an RB1 coming up.
You're looking good.
In trouble. Rest of the league in big trouble.
You're not the high scorer of the league, but you're looking good. Yeah. I'm waiting for Chris Godwin to come back.
I'll just be very clear about this. I'm obviously in the League of Assholes. I am rooting for myself. But if I am not able to win, I am rooting for the team that is known as anyone but Jay.
That's fair.
Literally anyone but Jay. Jay cannot win this league. I am begging you, America. Help me out here.
God, it's a juggernaut.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Who else is on this team?
My team?
Yes.
I've Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert as my starting quarterback. So I was criticized for taking Justin Herbert as the 20th QB off the board.
Strong.
I have Amon-Ra St. Brown as my lead receiver. Cooper Kupp, who's bounced back. I have Brock Bowers, who's going to be my backup tight end behind Tucker Kraft. My running back room is the difficult part, but it's Jalen Warren, Tony Pollard. I'm going to trade one of them, and Quinshon Judkins is probably going to start for me now. JSN, JSN, who leads the league in receiving, forgot about him because he's like the 7th guy on my juggernaut team.
Might have 2,000 yards this year.
Yeah.
Brandon De La Torre, Barry winning in the ankle world.
That's right.
You're really leaning in.
You know what?
I didn't even notice until I looked
I'm
at the
0-2 in the League of Assholes, but I'm undefeated in the League of Ankles.
Oh, boy.
There's no question.
Yep.
Yes.
I don't know.
No other contestants in that league
Yes.
yet, but well done.
I just, come on,
Very
someone
shallow
out there,
field.
Someone out, I need to do a photo shoot. I'm going to do a photo shoot with my ankles.
One of them had a bruise on it the other day, which hurts.
Yeah, well,
in the ankle model world.
I like some rough stuff. What do you know?
Today's show is for you, Matthew. It is Waiver Wire, where you can rebuild your roster. Jay and I are just along for the ride. I'm not picking anyone up this week. I don't need to. So this show's for you. Let's get into the quarterback injuries for week 2, because there are a lot of them that we're tracking right now, and it is not pretty. Joe Burrow is obviously going to be out for at least 3 months. Justin Fields is in concussion protocol. Jaden Daniels, we're waiting to hear more on him with the knee injury. J.J. McCarthy ended up with an ankle injury after that game. We got to hear from both Dan Quinn on Jaden Daniels and Kevin O'Connell on J.J. McCarthy.
Lots of the questions will be about our QB, but I can say here's what I know, and when I say that, it's all really that I know. So he did have an MRI, and he has already begun his return to play process with us. He is truly day-to-day. What does that mean for Sunday? I can't tell you that now. I'll have more to share on that when we get to Wednesday and practice and what that would look like.
J.J. McCarthy, did come in very, very sore today with the ankle sprain. I would anticipate we are not planning on having him for Sunday, and don't likely see this being any kind of short-term IR thing, but I do want to see, and Tyler and the group want to see how he responds.
With JJ, people will see that he finished the game last night and at least wonder, is there any part of the decision this week based on performance?
No, not at all. In fact, it was pretty crushing this morning to hear that for me.
Waiver wired specifically for Matthew. Yes, we're here. Let's get into the available quarterbacks because you might need one. Not a lot of clarity there. We'll see what happens with Jaden Daniels as the week goes on.
Yeah, I mean he is one of my quarterbacks in this league,
right.
So I may very much need a quarterback. I have Matthew Stafford on my team, so I at least have somebody.
Need some running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends as well.
I just need somebody to score some points. I have players that qualify at those positions.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, I don't know, the site that we play on is down actually for some reason. I was trying to look it up, but I think I'm number one.
Wow.
I think I'm number one in points against. So
great.
Yeah, so
it's called karma. When you open the draft with a monologue,
you scored 97 points this week.
It doesn't matter. No, it was
90.
Oh,
90
for
points.
Sure, 90. Exactly.
90.
For sure, by the way. I wasn't beating anyone this week. But
Last
I'm
week,
just saying,
6 teams would have beaten you as well.
Yeah.
Including both of these teams.
It's bad. I don't know what to tell you.
The points against excuse.
It always gets
if only
you.
I'd played the worst team in the league, I would have won.
Yes.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I was the worst team in the league this week.
You can't play Denny every week.
I know.
That's how it
Wow.
works. Yeah,
Wow.
you can't.
Denny, let's just call Denny the bye. Denny's the bye.
Yeah.
I was sweating about, I should have started Tucker Kraft over Cooper. Doesn't matter. I got a 60-point win over Denny.
Yeah.
I got a lot of room to play.
By the
is
way,
true.
Jonathan Medici in the comments really gets it. This must be a backup producer Pete show. We're just winging it again. It's actually Adam producing today. He does a great job on Waiver Wires.
But anytime, listen, Steven's our teacher. Anytime producer Steven is out,
It's
he's
all hell
not
breaks
here
loose.
Tuesdays or Wednesdays. Then it just sort of expands here. And look, so he is not available in our league, but he is available in 82% of leagues, and that's Danny Dimes.
Indiana Jones.
Huh?
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones. I
Yes.
like that for sure. Look, through 2 games, he's averaging over 26 fantasy points per game. He's been a top 5 quarterback in both weeks. And the thing is that he's doing it both with his legs. He's had 57% of the team's rushing touchdowns so far, of the team's goal line rushes so far. He's got 3 rushing touchdowns. They're not scared to do the tush push or some version of it with Daniel Jones. But the other thing that I think is crazy here, Jay, is that he's averaging 9.3 yards per pass attempt, which is third among quarterbacks. A guy that we thought was a dink and dunker has been airing it out a little bit more.
Yeah, and I don't think this is fluky, Connor, because
No.
the reason why is because he's throwing to his first read. Just like every time. Like, this is a Shane Steichen production, and Daniel Jones is the vessel for that, and he's producing. These guys, they get open. He has good receivers. He has a good O-line. He had time against Denver, which was shocking. And the fact that he was able to have this type of performance against an elite defense that was basically fully healthy, and they were like, they don't care. They're targeting Pat Surtain. They had like 9 throws in Pat Surtain's direction, and they were just cooking him, the defensive player of the year, over and over. I think that the offense is ideally set up where it's a low pass rate over expectation. This is Jonathan Taylor's offense primarily, and Daniel Jones is playing off of that. And so I don't really know why this can't sustain. It's probably they're going to punt at some point, which they haven't so far this season. But I think this is going to be a very solid offense. And Daniel Jones, he has priors as being a top 10 fantasy quarterback in 2022.
Yeah, 2 throws in this game that kind of make it feel for real, right? He had the one where he was pressured. It felt rare for him to be pressured in the first half, that he's drifting back and he hits Josh Downs on a beautiful throw to the left. And then the deep ball down the right sideline to Alec Pierce, where you're like, Daniel Jones is finding the deep ball, and really, if he could do that, run a little bit, the confidence in Shane Steichen's offense, there are reasons to be confident right now. Span asks, Caleb Williams or Indiana Jones quarterback pickup? Caleb Williams has the Dallas defense this week, Matthew, which kind of makes it enticing. Or do you roll with Daniel Jones, who's just been better?
I mean, it's crazy
that we're having this question. Tennessee's defense isn't bad.
I feel better about Daniel Jones at this point, I think. I mean,
still take Caleb, and I'm very much on the Daniel. I just think Caleb with the scrambling, with the value that he's given us, and also the rapport with Rome Odunze. The other issue with Daniel Jones, I think there are going to be games, perhaps like Tennessee, where the Colts are 3.5-point favorites, where it's just the Jonathan Taylor show, and there's just less volume. But no, I can see.
I will just say, I just feel like it's going to take a while for Caleb Williams to get comfortable in this offense. It's been 2 games. It hasn't looked great. Other than Caleb, he's got a connection with Rome Odunze, but he hasn't. Him and DJ Moore just don't seem like on the same page. They're not using Colston Loveland at all. They're giving way too much work to DeAndre Swift. I feel better about, let me put it this way. At the moment, we only have 2 games to base this on. At the moment, I feel better about Daniel Jones' situation and talent surrounding and coaching than I do about where Caleb Williams is. It's very, very close. It's very, very close.
One thing is that Daniel Jones has Jonathan Taylor as his running back, and Caleb Williams has DeAndre Swift. So the Bears may just need to throw the ball more.
Yeah, but I don't know that I think of Jonathan Taylor as a detriment to Daniel Jones' fantasy value, just because, again, that I don't have to. If I'm a defensive coordinator now, I've got to deal with that, right?
Versus drives,
right, and it doesn't feel like. With Daniel Jones, they are designing. They are calling designed runs for Daniel Jones. That is a staple of Steichen's offense. It doesn't feel like to me, Connor, that they're doing that with Caleb Williams. He is getting some rushing yards because he scrambles around and he holds the ball forever. He holds the ball too long, and he'll get you 20, 30 yards that way. But I'd feel better about in week 1 he had the scramble for the touchdown, but I don't feel like they're going to give him the cheap touchdowns when they get in close the way that Indy has. Yeah. Each of the last 2 weeks, he got 1 rushing touchdown, which was literally just a leap over the goal line in week 2, and he got 2 in week 1. It feels like they're comfortable doing the tush push to some extent with Daniel Jones, where they're not with Caleb Williams, at least so far.
Every time they get to the 1, it's just Daniel Jones, Daniel Jones, Daniel Jones. Jonathan Taylor's not even getting a look.
Yeah.
So it's close. It's a coin flip. I can't believe I sort of said that, but let me put it this way: I will have Daniel Jones ranked higher than Caleb Williams this week. I get the Dallas defense.
That's going to be the thing to watch, is the total in that game, because not only is Dallas' secondary look awful right now, and I know they've been hurt, the Bears' secondary looks worse, which means Caleb might be in a throw script for most of the game. That's a really tough call.
Yeah, it's a tough call. If you need 18 points, I'd go with Daniel Jones. He's got a higher floor. If you need to shoot for the moon, or you want to shoot for the moon, Caleb Williams has much more scope to be 330 passing yards.
That's the answer. And the other thing is, it depends on the you know what? Here's the other thing I'll say. It depends on the size of your league. Because I think that might be an 8-team league. If Caleb Williams is that's weird that Caleb Williams is on the waiver wire.
Right.
So it feels like that's probably an 8 or 10-team league.
Unless you have him and you're thinking about picking up Daniel Jones to start over.
Yeah. That might be the case too. So it's hard to say, but I'm just saying, in a scenario like that where it's a shallow league, if I knew that, then I might say, okay, go with Caleb because he's got the more upside. And to your point, Daniel Jones is more the floor play. And so in a shallow league, I'd rather go for the upside because if it doesn't work, then I can just get somebody else.
Our next quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, he's only 54% available. The upcoming schedule, Houston, San Francisco, Chiefs, Seattle. If you're picking him up for this week, you care about the Houston game. He was in a shootout this week. Yeah. That's why he had over 270 yards. He threw for 3 touchdowns. He did throw 2 picks. Matthew, this feels one where The eye test isn't always pretty with Trevor Lawrence, but the way Jacksonville's defense played in this game, even against Jake Browning, Lawrence had a lot of opportunities to throw to people not named Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Traveler has a tough matchup this week. I'm going to make that a thing. That's going to happen. The Traveler.
Let's see how it sticks.
Yeah. I may not win our league, but the Traveler
stinks. Bad nickname.
I disagree.
Next time.
All the more reason to make it stick. The Traveler does have Houston at home this week. The schedule gets a little bit tougher. Houston this week at San Francisco, home to Kansas City, home to Seattle. So that's the only concern with Trevor Lawrence here is that the next 4 games, a little tough schedule here, and he's not looked great to date. But I agree with the analysis here that, like, there's a good quarterback in there. We like the skill players around him. It should be a pass-happy offense under Liam Cohen, and they're going to have to be given how bad that defense is. And so I think it's going to be ugly, and I think some of it's going to be junk time, but I do think the Trevor Lawrence, is a viable pickup if Daniel Jones is not available in your league. He'd be my second choice over the rest of the season.
The third quarterback here, guys, Jake Browning, 99% available. If you're in Superflex, I'm sure Jake Browning is going to be a commodity. I think the question is, Jay, should he be? We know Jake Browning is a capable backup in a pass-happy offense, but at Minnesota, being fed to Brian Flores is no easy task.
Yeah, I think low-end QB2, if you have to find someone on the waiver wire, then Jake Browning's probably at the bottom of the list. And here's the issue is that the defenses that he's playing the next 4 weeks, at Vikings, at Broncos in prime time, home Lions, at Packers, and then even Steelers, who I think will ultimately have a good defense, even if they haven't acted like it so far. That's just a brutal string of matchups. And I think that Jake Browning, I think that a lot of his production is going to be fairly sustainable and consistent in the fact that it's a low average depth of target. It's just get the ball in designs to Jamar Chase, take shots down the field to T. Higgins, screen passes to Chase Brown. But I don't think there's a ton of upside, Connor, but he should, just with those weapons, he should be able to get you to 15, 17 points.
Yeah, there's some other guys that we'll talk about that are potential, but Jake Browning to me was my third choice here because I agree with you. The same argument that you make for Trevor Lawrence, less talent, but again, we like the skill players around him. We like the offense, and the defense is so bad he's going to have to throw. We've seen him be a fantasy viable quarterback. In 2023, he averaged over 19 fantasy points per game. He was actually QB7 in 7 starts during the 2023 season. Now, he did get those 3 rushing touchdowns, which sort of held to the total, but again, he got a rushing touchdown.
I say he did it again.
Sunday. Like I do. Like it's going to be. You know, again, he had a 12-7 interception touchdown to interception rate. Sounds about right from what we saw Sunday. He threw 3 picks. Right. He'll be better this week after getting a week of first-team reps. But, you know, and had 3 of the rushing touchdowns. The Brownler, Stuntman Chuck 85 says, I like it.
Don't love it.
The Brownler.
Don't love it.
I know you even more.
I don't know.
No, it is.
It's not great. It's like a 4 out of 10.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
You like the bad nicknames.
I like the bad nicknames. Yes, the Brownler, 100%.
All right.
Jake Browning, the Brownler. We love the Brownler here. Anyway, he's my number 3 pick. You mentioned the secondaries that he's going to have to face. That's a little bit tough. But I prefer, and I'm curious how you guys feel, because we've now seen Geno Smith have 1 good game in week 1 and 1 brutal game,
horrific game
last night. We'll get to that game later on in the show, but just as a pickup, he is available in almost 70% of leagues. Here's their upcoming schedule. This is the Raiders now. They're at Washington this week, home to Chicago, at Indianapolis, home to Tennessee. So it's not as tough a schedule as you might see with Browning or some of these other guys. And he runs a little bit, but I don't know. I prefer Jake Browning to Geno Smith. Are you guys there as well, or would you prefer Geno? You've been a big Geno supporter on this show.
We are a week removed of Geno looking fantastic against the Patriots, so I'm kind of mostly prepared to say
But so did Tua.
Right. So did Tua, yeah. The Patriots defense might be really bad.
With no Christian Gonzalez, they have their own problems in the secondary.
I think I would go Browning just with the faith in that, one, when he did last get a go 2 years ago in 7 starts, he was QB7. He was 19 points per game. Right. And I have more faith in him just giving the ball to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Chase Brown than I do with whatever's going on with this Raiders offense. I think one name we should touch on, Connor, Carson Wentz. Any life left in this puppy after Justin Jefferson last year helped elevate Sam Darnold? It's not like Wentz's pedigree right now is that much lower than Darnold's was going into last season.
And he's a Kevin O'Connell quarterback, which we've had conversations about Josh Dobbs and Nick Mullins on this show. So I think a desperation play. I don't think it's crazy in a 2-quarterback league.
Chuck it up as well, Carson.
I mean,
They play the Bengals this week.
Jake Brown and Carson Wentz shootout is in the range of outcomes.
Yeah.
Very possible.
Give me the over.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the line is real quick.
I wonder if this gives
Hang
Jefferson a boost with how shell-shocked McCarthy's looked for 7 of the 8 quarters, where it's like Carson Wentz gets in there and he's like, well, Justin Jefferson is out there. I'm going to pepper him over and over again.
Yeah. So it's on my sheet that was produced this morning, it was 41.5, and I'm getting in my ear that it's already moved up to 43.5. Is that what you're seeing, Jay?
It's still 41.5 on DraftKings.
Oh, give me the over. Give me the over. Hey, by the way, Adam, I may take that later on in the show. Yeah.
Early line alert is our last segment today, by the way, so stick around for that.
I'm taking that one. Cincinnati, Minnesota over 41.5. No, all I'm going to say is that, yeah, Carson Wentz just, I think, having a full week. This is the thing that I think gets missed a lot is having a full week of getting all the first-team reps, which Carson Wentz will have, is so vital to any kind of backup. And so you love the matchup here as well. Some other guys, Tua Tagovailoa plays Buffalo on Thursday. It's worth noting the Dolphins are top 5 in terms of pass rate over expected so far this year. And Mac Jones looked competent last week against your Saints. Now he gets the Cardinals, who have not looked competent. I don't know. They're the least competent 2-0 team in the NFL,
right.
I feel like. I don't know how that team is 2-0.
I feel like they played the Saints and Panthers to a draw across these 2 games. Like, in terms of the underlying stats merit, it's not ideal. And Mac Jones, you just have to have such great confidence that Kyle Shanahan's going to be able to scheme him production. Shanahan was very much in his bag against the Saints, and they have enough healthy players to be able to generate options for Mac Jones.
Let's move over to the running backs here, and we're going to start with the Browns backfield that we have talked a lot about for the last couple weeks because it was a little difficult to figure out the week 2 touches. We got to see the debut of second-round pick Quinshon Judkins, who, yes, the snap count was low at 26%, but the rushing attempts were high. He got 10 carries basically off the couch. He had 71 total yards. Jerome Ford, 49% of the snaps. Dylan Sampson, just 24% of the snaps. Kevin Stefanski spoke on the idea of Quinshon Judkins potentially being the lead back of this offense.
I thought he did a nice job with what we asked him to do yesterday, Tony. Obviously, get him in here, get a lift, get treatment, see how his body's feeling. But I think he certainly is capable of doing more, and we'll treat it just like we did last week, and in that we'll see how he comes through the week and make those type of decisions as the week goes on.
I mean, listen, Quinshon Judkins was taken to a top 50 pick for a reason. As soon as his legs are ready for it, he is going to be the workhorse back of Kevin Stefanski's rushing attack. The fact that he got this amount of touches on such a low snap rate already, Matthew, says everything.
Yeah, 19 snaps, but 13 touches on those 19 snaps. When he was out there, they were using him as well. Despite the fact that he played just 19 offensive snaps, he led the Browns' backfield in touches and rushing yards in his first game back. We've said this all along, that once he gets the opportunity, he's going to be the starting running back of the Cleveland Browns, and we've seen that backfield have production so far. Now, here's the problem. They play Green Bay this week, right, which I think is probably the best defense in the NFL at the moment,
yes.
The Packers. So you don't feel great about that opportunity. And then at Detroit, home to Minnesota, at Pittsburgh, it's not like it gets a lot easier moving forward. Having said that, he is a starting running back in the NFL on an offense that I think will be competent. He's available in about 40% of leagues, so it's usually we try to make it over 50%, but it's just he needs to be rostered in 100% of leagues. So just if Quinshon Judkins is somehow available in your league, he's not an artist, he's annoyingly on Jay's team, but Judkins is my number 1 pickup this week.
Or if you're in a league where the roster manager doesn't know a lot about rookies, send a trade offer and see if you could steal him off a roster, because I think Judkins is going to be really, really good.
Right. Or wait till after this week when he does nothing against Green Bay.
Buy low. Right, that's true. Yeah. Regular Joey said Judkins over Jalen Warren this week, or are we waiting still? Matthew, I feel like you kind of just answered that one with the Packers defense.
Yeah, exactly. I think I'd prefer Jalen Warren, who I thought looked pretty good against Seattle. He was the.
Got to make this exact same decision, regular Joey, in the League of Assholes.
And what are you going to do?
Well, Tony Pollard's my other running back, so I got to choose 2 of Pollard, Judkins, and Warren, leaning Judkins on the bench just because of the Packers.
Yeah. Warren looked like Darren Sproles in a couple of plays.
Yeah,
they used him
the
smart.
Way he was making people miss.
Yep.
Our next running back here, guys, another rookie, Cam Skattebo. He's only 41% available, but still check your league out there. The real thing here, Matthew, is the usage. The 11 carries, he gets the touchdown. He really had one big run in this game, but it didn't matter. It was enough to be effective, and I think the bigger point here just feels like Tyrone Tracy is already slowly being phased out.
Yeah, which is disappointing because, you and I both love Tyrone Tracy, but,
Well, trust Brian Daboll. He's made a lot of good decisions.
Oh.
He has indeed.
Coach of the year.
Either way, regardless of whether we agree with Coach Daboll's decision or not, the fact is like to the eye test, Skattebo looked just like the more explosive running back. Tracy just wasn't able to get anything going against the Cowboys. Skattebo did, and you mentioned the usage, right? I mean, Tracy didn't touch the ball much. Skattebo had 13 touches in this one. He handled 71% of the Giants' red zone rushes. He saw the only goal to go carry that New York got as well. More snap rate, higher snap rate, more touches, more scrimmage yards in week 2 than Tyrone Tracy. So, yeah, I mean, I think he's the lead running back of the Giants at the moment. I'll have him ranked higher than Tracy when my rankings come out tomorrow. And he plays the Chiefs this week, which not a great matchup, but again, needs to be rostered in all formats.
Our next one, Jay, Bhayshul Tuten. It's been rookie running back day here on the show. Tuten, the 2 catches he had, that's exactly how Jacksonville needs to use him. Get him in space, make people miss, get up the field. He just brings a different element to this backfield.
Yeah, as you say, his snap rate rose significantly from 6% in week 1 to 26% in week 2, more than doubled his rushing attempts and got some receiving work, to your point. I think that a lot of people saw the Tank Bigsby trade to Philadelphia as a vote of confidence in Travis Etienne. I think it's more of a vote of confidence in Bhayshul Tuten. And I think that between Etienne's injury history, between the fact that Tuten is a guy for this regime, I would make it greater than a 50% chance that Bhayshul Tuten is the lead guy in Jacksonville at some point. It's not that Etienne's been bad so far, and he's fantastic in week 1. I just feel like it's trending towards Tuten's role eventually.
Yeah, he looked great, like shot out of a cannon. And why we like the tape so much coming out of college. And I think you think about Liam Cohen here, the easy comparison, and I think it's a correct one, is that he very easily could be this year's Bucky Irving, a running back that's in a bit of a timeshare at the start of the year, but by the second half of the year, takes over this backfield and wins fantasy managers a bunch of titles. Probably not me, but other fantasy managers out there. I do have Tuten in a lot of leagues. I just don't have him in ours. Tuten might have a Bucky Irving situation opening up for him, says Louis Garcia. I just said that, Louis.
The comments are just filled with the Tootler and release the Tootler.
Release the Tootler?
Yes, that's why I'm laughing when you're speaking. The comments are literally just the Tootler.
Yeah.
Come on.
Spamming the chat.
The Tootler, absolutely.
See, all right, that one I'll roll with that.
We're in on the Tootler.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Sometimes late at night when I pull the covers up, my wife calls me the Tootler.
Oh, atrocious.
Oh, boy.
Just like
I was going to say something else, but I won't. Let's move on.
All right, well, deep league targets.
We've been married a long time.
Rachaad White with the game-winning touchdown.
Screw that.
Oh, man.
You got a toot. You got a toot.
The Tootler.
Of course.
Rachaad White, Matthew?
Yeah, sure.
Is he back
He's a
on the
running
map?
back.
Yep.
He looked good. I thought he looked good last
He actually did. He actually did.
Spry.
And what's weird is I think some people might, Connor, look at the stat line and go like, whoa, what, Rachaad White, what happened here? He's available in 64% of the league. Is he taking over the Bucky Irving role? He's not. Bucky Irving got a ton of work, looked great, but Rachaad White got that touchdown.
He got that touchdown, and I'll say this to Rachaad White. They like him in pass pro, and I think that look at the end of the game really, really threw the Texans defense off balance where you don't want the clock to keep running. So they were probably thinking, okay, Rachaad White's on the field, they're going to throw, he's probably going to block here or run a delayed route. And instead, they surprised them by just handing him the ball. So that was a great play call. I just don't know if that situation will be replicated very often.
But the fact that they trust him so much in pass protection lets you know, like, he's got a role that's not going away. And so we do think he's pretty interesting. I thought Woody Marks looked good in his limited time for the Texans last night as well. Saw a larger role in week 2. Dameon Pierce, a healthy scratch for the Texans. Your boy Najee, double his snap rate from week 1. We're going to talk about that a little bit coming up, with my guy Hampton. Chris Rodriguez. And I'll also say Jeremy McNichols. I think Jeremy McNichols actually is him and Chris Rodriguez. I think both will get more snaps now with Austin Eckler unfortunately out for the year. But both guys I think are sort of interesting in deeper leagues here. And in week 2, Miles Sanders, the ghost of Miles Sanders, got 2 of the 3 Cowboys goal-to-go rushing attempts. We know Javonte Williams has that role locked down, but until we see some Jadon Blue, it feels like Miles Sanders is going to have like at least a role that might be viable in much deeper leagues.
All right, we go to wide receivers here, and this is headlined by Darnell Mooney, who just misses our threshold at 49%, but still have to talk about Mooney, who was banged up coming into the year. He only had 4 targets, 2 catches, 20 yards, but the reality is here, Jay, Michael Penix needs another wide receiver. It just can't be Drake London all the time. This game also felt like a very strange script where just nobody was scoring touchdowns.
It's very strange. There's strange offense at the moment in Atlanta where I believe they're bottom 3 in terms of pass rate over expectation, which makes sense when you have Bijan Robinson, but they have a super favorable matchup against the Panthers. Commanders' defense doesn't scare you. Bills as well after the bye. It doesn't scare you, Matthew. No one's afraid. There is no fear in that defense. And then the Bills, who were great against the Jets, but overall haven't been an amazing defense for the past half season or so. I think the Falcons are now, from a pass game perspective, one of the easiest teams to understand. There's only 3 guys on the field. It's Drake London, Darnell Mooney, and Kyle Pitts.
That's it.
And then Ray McLeod comes in a little bit of time, does his Ray McLeod thing. But for the most part, it's just those 3 guys. Drake London's going to be the workhorse. Darnell Mooney's going to be the deep threat. And it's just Weather Penix, who hasn't really been bombing threes as we expected so far. I think that'll develop as the season goes forward. But Darnell Mooney, if you need like a high upside play in a given week, then he does have a chance of catching a long touchdown.
100% route participation in week 2. Got a 19% target share. Again, it was such a weird game, again, with no touchdowns scored, and the Falcons did what they needed to do to, on the road at Minnesota.
There it goes.
What the hell's wrong with you?
I don't know. How long do you have? What's wrong with me? How long do you have?
I bring my own pen now because of that.
So
it gives you an insurance pen.
Yeah,
I
need a backup pen.
Yes.
I need a handcuff pen.
When we show up to the studio every day, there's 3 pens on the desk. I bring one, so Matthew has 2.
Yeah.
Now you have Tyler Algier in your hand.
I do. This is, Tyler the pen here. Anyway, Darnell Mooney. We like Darnell Mooney. And next game, they play the Panthers this week.
So have the worst run defense.
Yeah, exactly. So, Bijan will probably throw it to Darnell Mooney.
The old halfback pass. Great play. Troy Franklin, 97% available.
Is this show over yet?
No, we still got 29 minutes. Troy Franklin, this is one where he's available in your league. 97% available, and there's a chance that this is the Broncos' number 2 wide receiver now, Matthew. Drafted as a deep threat. Look at the route tree here. A little bit more varied for Bo Nix. Obviously, a long bit of chemistry with Bo Nix going back to college. This is very promising to me.
Yeah. This route tree is really, to me, this is the most impressive thing right here because that was the concern. I felt like that was the knock on Troy Franklin coming out of college, that he was going to be one-trick pony. And so he's clearly expanded his route tree. Look, through 2 games, he leads the Broncos in targets, receptions, receiving yards, 30% target share in week 2, 88% route participation. Shout out to Dwayne McFarland of FantasyLife.com. All the utilization stats are from Dwayne and FantasyLife.com. We thought that somebody would emerge in this offense as the number 2 opposite Courtland Sutton. Candidly, I thought it was going to be Marvin Mims, but it appears it's going to be, that it is Troy Franklin. He's a 5th-round rookie last year, right?
Right, that I thought should have been a 2nd-round rookie, and he did nothing his rookie year. It was a really, really bad start. But when you have speed, you have chemistry with the quarterback, and he leaned into development this summer, I truly think this is the Broncos' number 2 wide receiver now.
He played more snaps than Courtland Sutton against the Colts, and he looked fantastic. And Bo Nix, who I still didn't think played great against the Colts, but better. And at least he played, I thought, poorly in a way that at least lended itself to putting up counting stats. So this offense under Sean Payton with a great offensive line, there's going to be stats to be had, and he's clearly the number 2 guy at worst.
At worst.
In the offense.
Yeah, I'm not ready to write off Courtland Sutton just yet. No. But he is a member of the 0-2 live at noon on the tube. Yeah. So
to be fair, he's not going to get the ghost of Xavier Howard to go up against every week because Travaris Ward was out and Xavier Howard had to play every single snap. Yeah. And they went 8 for 8 targeting Xavier Howard, and he had 3 penalties on the same drive. Wow. So not a great day for Xavier Howard, but ultimately Troy Franklin I think has to be rostered in every league.
Connor, very exciting that the Giants finally have a deep threat in Wan'Dale Robinson.
My goodness. I mean, where did this come from? Wan'Dale Robinson, this is a Giants team that everybody knew they need some kind of number 2 target. They brought back Darius Slayton. You know what Malik Neighbors is. But 10 targets, Matthew? 10 targets? Wait, now this script was nuts. And Russ was absolutely chucking the ball. I don't think we'll ever see a Russ game of this standard the rest of the way in terms of passing yardage. But can Wan'Dale Robinson do half of this every week going forward? That would be nice.
I think so. I mean, in both games this season, he's had a 25% target share. I feel like the loss of the Giants to the Cowboys was not on the offense. Russ threw a bad pick. That was a bad pick that he threw, but like generally speaking, they moved the ball. They moved the ball very well. They let Russ cook. Russ did, in fact, cook. That loss was on the defense and candidly the coaching. Like I think poorly coached down the stretch. But like I feel like there is. Wan'Dale Robinson is somebody who I think was a 2nd-round pick
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's somebody that had talent coming out of college that they liked a lot, and so the production has been there. Like, yes, game 2 was nuts, but the fact that he had the big target share in week number 1, he's playing Kansas City this week that's allowed the second highest catch rate to the slot so far this year. So even if Wan'Dale isn't averaging over 16 yards a catch, you know, the way he did, like, he's still going to be involved in an offense that is going to struggle to run the ball against Kansas City. Kyle S. wants to know, should I target Wan'Dale or Skattebo? You are a member of the New York media. Connor Rogers,
Slightly.
you're an Emmy-losing reporter
Yes,
of the
and
New
now
York.
Emmy nominated again to lose again.
Oh my gosh,
Yes,
there you go.
It could happen again.
Yes,
Zeal.
yes. Come on, Zeal.
If these are the options you're giving me here, Kyle S., I'm going to take Wan'Dale just because the Giants' offensive line is getting no push in the run game. You hope Skattebo can score a touchdown, but Giants should be throwing a lot. And you brought up the target share with Wan'Dale. For me, the answer to this is clearly Wan'Dale.
I think so too, because I think Wan'Dale is not going to get game scripted out. Like, I don't see a scenario where they're up by so much that they're just running. Like, because again, Wan'Dale is in some ways part of their running game. When they can't run, they're using these short passes to Wan'Dale, like at least in week 1, and we've seen that in previous seasons. And so, and obviously, if they're negative game script, which you think would be on more often than not, he's going to be part of that passing attack. So I agree with that. I prefer Robinson to Skattebo.
I mean, they even threw Devin Singletary a screen in overtime.
Yeah.
Like, there are 3 running backs showing up on the field for this team right now. Romeo Doubs, our next wide receiver, 84% available. They got the Browns at Cleveland. 5 targets here, Jay, and he gets the touchdown. I mean, Jaden Reed hurt now. We know how the rest of this wide receiver room constantly rotates. Yes, Tucker Kraft, their man, absolute beast. But is Doubs the most reliable receiver in this offense?
Yeah, if we're not counting Tucker Kraft as a wide receiver, which he's not, but in terms of pass catchers that have him, but Romeo Doubs is kind of the spiritual embodiment of this Green Bay Packers pass catch room, where it's like we're just playing roulette every week with these guys. But I do feel like Doubs, just because he's been there for a while now and he has a rapport with Jordan Love, he is perhaps the safest week to week. It's difficult, though. You don't feel good about any of these guys.
That's the key, right? I think he has the best floor of all the Packers wide receivers, but upsides-wise, I'm still betting on Golden, and I'd actually prefer Dontavian Wicks as a pickup this week if I'm looking for upside. You know, Wicks has been productive when he's gotten an opportunity. He had a 22% target share against Washington last Thursday. But to your point, Doubs, there's just a floor there with Doubs, who's been there. He leads the Packers, wide receivers in end zone targets and red zone targets so far this year. He's had at least an 18% target share in the 2 games the Packers have played. So again, if you need a floor guy, Doubs is the person. If you want to swing for the fences, I think Wicks is the better pickup.
Yeah, if you need 4 for 40 and a 25% chance at a touchdown, Romeo Doubs is your man.
Yes.
If Jordan Love finds Golden on one of these deep balls, though, that narrative will turn. But it has to happen.
It has to happen. That's
Simple
right.
as it. How about some deep league wide receiver targets? And the name at the top is my favorite, Elic Ayomanor. This is probably your last. I think it's your last chance to get him this week in all leagues.
1,000%. He's 92% available. Made the great catch in the end zone there as well. We've talked about him quite a bit. Connor loves him, but you know whose team he is on in our league? Me. This guy.
Of course.
I don't know why you didn't
No
pick
room
him up.
for him.
Yeah, exactly.
Top scoring team doesn't need him.
Yeah, fair
love
enough.
him,
but anyway, he's the number 2 wide receiver on an offense that's going to throw. We think Cam Ward's going to be pretty good. He's just 2 tough matchups for the Titans so far. Dyami Brown was my desperation long play that I gave out on Fantasy Football pregame this Sunday morning. Scores a touchdown, drops a touchdown. What are you going to do? Mixed bag. But they're playing a lot of 3 wide receiver sets in Jacksonville. They're going to be throwing a lot, and Dyami Brown is the 3rd wide receiver after, of course, BTJ and Travis Hunter. Speaking of Hunter, how about Hunter Renfrow? Oh, there you go. Look at me, broadcast professional. Yo, Todd Zeal, I'm coming for your Emmy. Look, I can't believe this stat I'm about to give, Connor Rogers, but Hunter Renfrow, who's literally your height, Hunter Renfrow leads the team in red zone targets. He had 3 end zone targets in week number 2. Xavier Legette, we love Xavier Legette, friend of the podcast. It's not happening. Xavier Legette, it does not look pretty so far. And so they need a number 2 for Bryce Young. And until Jalen Coker comes back, it's Hunter Renfrow. The Panthers this week play the
Falcons.
And
the
they're
Falcons.
5.5 dogs.
Probably no AJ Terrell. So, I mean, this team's going to have to throw a lot.
I think
that's terrible.
I think they've been down at halftime both weeks 20-3.
Yeah.
So they come out of the half like, okay, Bryce Young,
Yeah.
Warm up that arm, because
Yeah.
it's all you're going to be doing.
And it hasn't been good for Bryce Young so far, but I think that he is at a level where he can feed guys in a throw script in the second half, which he has.
Yeah, and last one I'll just mention is Tyquan Thornton. 80% route participation so far this season. He caught the deep touchdown against the Eagles as well. Like, again, it's Hollywood Brown and Kelsey, but at least until we see Rice or Worthy back, Tyquan Thornton in deeper leagues, has some speed, and they're clearly using him.
All right, our tight ends here for the week, guys. Juwan Johnson, 56% available.
My guy.
Juwan Johnson, who once upon a time won you a fantasy championship.
Yes, he did. We talked about, I may have to bring him back for the reunion. We may have to have a reunion. Celebrate that championship, because
Get the vibes
yeah,
back.
at the moment we're not hanging any banners this year. But we talked about Juwan Johnson on this show last week, and you should have picked him up then, because all he did was have a huge game in week 2, 5 for 49 and a touchdown. So far this season, he's got a 27% target share. That's third highest among tight ends. He leads the Saints in red zone targets. He's had an end zone target in both games. Jay Croucher. And it's a nice matchup with Seattle, as they allow the most fantasy points to opposing tight ends so far this year.
Spencer Rattler's been kind of good.
Competent.
He's
Right.
been
He's
solid
competent.
2 weeks in. He's like a top 10 graded quarterback by PFF grade. That matches the eye test. He's not amazing, but he is very confident that he can get the ball to these guys.
Our last tight end, Harold Fannin here, Jay, 58% available. 5 catches, 48 yards, a little bit of a dip from week 1, but you get 10 points out of a waiver wire tight end. Fannin has a consistent role in this offense.
Exactly.
He does. And I think he just needs to be viewed as like a legitimate tight end too. This team is going to have to throw a lot. We'll see who the quarterback is in a couple of weeks, but Fannin has the rapport with Joe Flacco so far, and we've got 2 weeks of evidence now that he can very much coexist with David Njoku. As you always say, Connor, you don't look at him like he's a tight end. He is a wide receiver who is eligible at tight end.
Packers allow the 5th most yards per game to tight ends so far in this season. Zach Ertz had the touchdown against them last Thursday night. Fannin's usage, while it down, it was enough to be like, oh yeah, okay, week 1 wasn't a fluke. Yeah. Like, he's going to get used.
All right, guys, if you need a defense, if
Yes.
you're still playing in a league with a defense, you got Seattle against the Saints, the Colts against the Titans. The Falcons, once again, are 5.5-point favorites against the Panthers, and the Bucs are home against whoever the Jets end up having to start. Quarterback could be Tyrod Taylor. We'll see if Justin Fields gets out of protocol. We're going to take our first break. One more back. Still to come, our panic meter for Ashton Jeanty, Omarion Hampton, and Nico Collins. We're breaking down the Monday Night Football doubleheader after this.
Less than 20 carries tonight for Ashton Jeanty. Any reason why I haven't been able to heavily feature him? And is that something you want to, get going?
We're just getting started. We're just getting started. He's breaking into the NFL. He's figuring it out. When he had 11 or something carries tonight, is that what he had? 11, yeah. Oh, he'll get more.
That was Pete Carroll after a tough showing from the Raiders offense on Monday Night Football. Here's the notable fantasy performances. It feels like Justin Herbert had this basically at halftime, the 18.8 points. It was just a quiet second half all around. Keenan Allen and Quinton Johnston with big nights, and the Chargers now constant passing attack. Jacoby Myers led things on the Raiders side here, guys. Listen, before we get to any of the great performances, East Coast football fans drink for free.
Dude,
Oh my God.
it was so late. Stayed up, very, very late to watch 3 points over that final hour.
The Raiders just kept getting stops and doing nothing with it over and over and over again.
So as you guys know, or I think you know, because I get asked this, so I'm in 32 leagues this year. No, I am. I'm in 32 leagues. Actually, I take
higher
that back.
or lower than normal?
That's the most I've ever been in.
Okay.
That's the most I've ever been in. So I'm in 32 leagues this year, and I'm actually now I'm in 31 because last night I got killed in a guillotine league. I got cut in a guillotine league because I had Justin Fields and Derrick Henry, and in an 18-team league you can't get 5 points from two of your best players. But basically it came down to I was up 11 going into last night, and I was done. And the other person that might get chopped had Brock Bowers. And so I was like, I'm okay. And then Omarion Hampton fumbles. They get one more BS possession.
Yep.
Brock Bowers catches one more pass for 7 yards, and I lose by 0.2 of a point.
That's great.
0.2. So, yeah, that was great. So, in addition to my ride or die fumbling, then it allowed Brock Bowers to get a stupid, ridiculous, doesn't matter, one catch for 7 yards, and got eliminated from that particular league. So now I'm down to 31 leagues, which is helpful. We have to talk about this Chargers offense because they've been crazy in terms of pass rate over expectation so far this year. Herbert has looked great, but why would you spend a first-round pick on Omarion Hampton?
Right, and now you have Najee Harris showing up a little bit.
8 carries,
a little bit more.
Yeah, I still think Hampton's the better running back. Yes. And if there's a positive here, they got in close and they gave him 3 carries. The offensive line just didn't show up. And I think there's a scenario here where the Raiders just might have a really good defensive line. The Patriots, who ran all over Miami in week 2, couldn't do anything against that line in week 1. There's also a chance that I'm just trying to talk myself into this.
No, I think that, number one, there's obviously concern about not just Omarion Hampton, but Ashton Jeanty. The Raiders' offensive line is getting no push. Jeanty's hit behind the line of scrimmage constantly. But I think on the Chargers side of things, Matthew, one, teams still play the Chargers, it feels like they are the actual old Greg Roman Chargers. And the Chargers, Jay, are kind of just sitting there and going, we'll just keep throwing if you're going to give us these looks.
Yeah, I think a lot of the pass rate over expectation, which is almost double what the next highest team is in terms of pass rate over expectation, is the fact that they are seeing these loaded boxes that are stopping the run and that are selling out to do that, and they're just taking what's there. I think the ripple effects for the Chargers passing game is Keenan Allen just looks real. I think he's just a rock-solid high-end wide receiver 3 at this point. Ladd McConkey, tough game for him, but he'll be fine. And then Quinton Johnston, Matthew.
Yeah, he got the one bomb, the 60-yard bomb, and then just 2 other, but that's sort of his game.
He's
7
making
targets?
the plays, though, that he has to. And the problem with him as a rookie was he constantly didn't make those plays.
That's right. But it feels like if they're going to pass this much that they can support, they don't really have a tight end. So, it's McConkey, Allen, and QJ in that order in terms of this passing offense. We saw, we got a wave hello from Trey Harris, but not much. It's those 3 guys. It's McConkulis, who only gets 5 receptions. Keenan Allen gets 7 targets. By the way, the touchdown was a thing of beauty. Off-script play where he motioned to Herbert to lead him, and he did. And that just, that's from years playing together, knowing exactly sort of how fast and where to get it to him. So I think you feel good about the Chargers offense. I'm nervous about Hampton a little bit, but he's ride or die means you stick with him all year long. My Twitter mentions are blowing up, my social media. Give me the year. And then at the end of the year, if it sucks, then you can say, 0 for 2, I get it. But give me the year. I'm still banking on Harbaugh, Roman, and his talent. In fairness to me, I did take it before the Rashawn, I had to make the selection in July before the Rashawn Slater injury. But still, I'm sticking by Omarion Hampton, and I'm sticking by Ashton Jeanty, Connor. these guys have too much draft capital and too much talent to bail on them after 2 weeks.
I think the concern with Jeanty is you should play the Raiders the way teams are playing them. Like, don't let him beat you. I think the thing with the Chargers is I believe it's going to swing the other way.
Yeah.
At some point, you have to defend the way they are throwing the ball, and that has to open space for Hampton. So, yes, I'd have Jeanty ranked higher on a week-by-week basis, but I'm a little bit more optimistic about the better change for Hampton because of where he is.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think I agree with that take because I think that with the Raiders, there might just be something that is terminal about their offense where their line just can't block for Ashton Jeanty. There's 2 weeks in a row they just can't generate anything for him, and that is a huge red flag.
Jacoby Myers over 63.5 receiving yards. That did cash, so thank you, Jacoby. Took a while, but it got there.
A thriller, Bucs at Texans. Came down right to the end there. I think from a fantasy perspective, though, Matthew, is Nico Collins the only guy in the Texans offense that you're starting? And even that had its moments last night where you wanted to bang your head into the wall.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, he did have a 39% target share, but he's averaging 5.5 yards per target, which is crazy. Like, it's criminal. Like, the way they're using Nico Collins is criminal. Only 43% of his targets so far this year have been catchable. C.J. Stroud hasn't looked great, and he's just been under siege every single time he drops back to pass. I do think Nick Chubb showed some, he got that late touchdown. Also part of that Bowers guillotine team that killed me. Last night was not my night. Yeah. But Chubb seemed like, okay, he's the guy again. We talked about this, Dameon Pierce, healthy scratch. But yes, Nico and Chubb as a flex running back in a deeper league if you need it, are the only Texans. Although Woody Marks is a stash for me.
Yeah, I think C.J. Stroud looked terrible. C.J. Stroud quietly has kind of been bad for 2 years.
He's missing throws.
Yeah, he's missing throws. He seems rattled by pressure. Yes. He threw an awful what should have been picked by, I think, Levante David. Like, he just doesn't look at the races at the moment at all, and there's ripple effects across that. Offensive line isn't giving him a chance either. Bad. So the offense is just bad last year. And it looks bad to start this year. Bucs side of the ball, I don't think there's any big takeaways. Egbuka, great. Rachaad White got more carry than I think he will most weeks. Bucky Irving was still fine ultimately, and Baker Mayfield's just the boss.
Yeah, exactly. Egbuka gets the touchdown. Mike Evans is going to be fine. Like, I think the Bucs are as expected. Last thing I just want to mention here, and take a moment here to say rest in peace, Robert Redford. So the iconic, legendary actor passed away this morning at the age of 89, and I got the chance to spend a day with him. He was my co-star, I was his, on Avengers Endgame. And so here's a picture of us. That's also Joe and Anthony Russo, and of course Robert Downey Jr. That's off set where we took that photo. I'm in Avengers Endgame, and I will just say that, like, again, here's a screenshot from the movie. Robert's very upset. I'm angry. Look how in character I am.
You've ever looked.
Yeah. But all I just say is like, he is an icon and a legend, and here I am on a movie set, right? I'm on a movie set, and he easily could have been like, what is the fantasy football guy doing here? But he was gracious and welcoming and treated me as if I was a legit fellow actor. A group of us all went to lunch as well, and we were hanging on every word. He will be missed. One of the best memories of my life. R.I.P. Rest in peace, Robert Redford. We'll be back.
DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL. New customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly, and $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube TV. Just download the Sportsbook app. Use promo code FFHH when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook.
Crown is yours.
It's time for last call. Early line alert, guys. Jay, what do you like on the board? Early board.
Like Indiana Jones, the Indianapolis Colts -3.5 at the Titans. I believe in this Colts team. I think the defense is going to look a lot better with Javarius Ward and Latu back. And I think that this offense is going to keep rolling against the Titans team that just can't get anything going at the moment.
Yeah.
Listen, Falcons worked for me last week. They were underdogs against the Vikings. They ended up winning the game. I'm going to run it back with this young Atlanta defense, 5.5-point favorites against the Panthers. Panthers have been down 20-3 at both halves of the first two games. They're lost right now. Falcons got some juice.
I totally agree with it. Look, I talked about this earlier. Like, give me the over on 41.5. Cincinnati at Minnesota. Minnesota Vikings defense didn't look great, and I think Bengals, you'll be able to score on it. But Packers and Browns, 42.5. Give me the under. Two very good defenses. I don't think the Packers are going to have to score that much to beat the Browns. So I like the under 42.5 Packers at the Browns. It is closing time, which means you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. We're back tomorrow with Connor and Jay. I'm Matthew. Thank you so much for tuning in. Good luck in waivers tonight. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.